How do you pass or cheat a Respondus LockDown Browser exam without studying? Welcome to this explainer, where we are diving right into the high-stakes world of exam surveillance and, more importantly, exactly how you beat it. If you've ever felt that absolute knot of anxiety staring down a proctored test, you're in the right place. Today, we're breaking down the 2026 landscape of the Respondus LockDown Browser. We're going to look at the methods people try to use, why most of them fail spectacularly, and what actually works.
It's literally the ultimate dilemma, keeping stressed students awake at night. Whether you are totally overwhelmed with clinicals, balancing a full-time job, or just facing an impossibly difficult course, you need a solid answer. Today, we are breaking down exactly how it's bypassed by looking at every single angle of this technology.
Right off the bat, I want to make it crystal clear. The most secure way to bypass any proctored exam is by using our expert service at www.cheatproctoredexams.com. You can find that exact link pinned right there in the comments and the description box below. We offer this service to handle all the heavy lifting for you. But it's incredibly important that you understand exactly why you need an expert in your corner. So let's take a look at what we are actually up against here.
Before we talk solutions, we really need to understand the beast we're dealing with. Respondus isn't just some standard web browser, it's a deep system lockdown tool. Once it launches, bam, your entire desktop becomes the exam screen. It instantly kills your essential computer functions. You can't minimize it. Alt-Tab, dead. The Windows key, Control-Alt-Delete, Task Manager, all entirely blocked. Even your right-click menus, print screen, and every single one of your function keys are completely disabled. It also actively scans for background processes and will terminate your exam in a heartbeat if it spots anything even slightly suspicious.
And it gets worse. The surveillance deepens significantly if your school adds the Respondus Monitor to the mix. Suddenly, you are dealing with a much stricter environment. Monitor brings in constant webcam recording, high-sensitivity microphone recording, and continuous screen recording. But the real kicker? The AI-powered behavior analysis. This AI is constantly watching you. It's ready to flag your exam for review if your eyes dart away from the screen, if it hears you mumbling to yourself, or if it detects someone walking into the room.
So, let's get into the danger of manual workarounds. You are fighting a multi-layered surveillance system, and doing this yourself carries a massive, fatal risk to your academic career.
Look, for a long time, running a virtual machine was the gold standard. The famous GitHub trick using Windows Sandbox allowed students to run the exam in an isolated environment while keeping their real desktop totally hidden. But guess what? Respondus figured this out. Those detection mechanisms were completely patched by Respondus in early 2025. Attempting that old GitHub trick right now often results in a permanent platform ban. You will literally never be able to take a future exam on their system.
Now, other software bypasses might look really tempting, but let me tell you, they are deeply flawed. Take DLL injection, for example, using tools like Lockdown Unlocked. This requires injecting custom code directly into the browser process to neutralize its restrictions. The problem? It requires complex developer skills and a really deep understanding of third-party injection tools. That's just way too complex for the average student. And then you have keyboard hooks, like the Lockdown Bypass tool, which use shortcuts like Control-Shift-M to intercept commands. But these tools are easily detected by simple Respondus software updates that actively scan your computer for low-level system hooks. It's just not worth it.
So if software is too risky, what about physical, low-tech methods? Well, even hardware methods fail miserably under pressure. Trying to use a capture card like an Elgato HD60S with two laptops? All it takes is one stray cable visible on your webcam and your cover is entirely blown. What about having a second person in the room with a dummy screen? The AI will flag the audio of a hidden helper, pick up a tiny chair creak, or flag your suspicious gaze as you try to read answers off a whiteboard. And hiding a phone in the camera's dead zone, the eye-tracking AI will flag you constantly looking down, the camera will catch the glare of the screen on your glasses, or the highly sensitive mic will catch a simple vibration.
Plus, if you try that extremely common trick of hiding your phone under your desk, you might walk right into a massive trap. Exams are now utilizing a sneaky new second camera feature. Instructors are increasingly requiring students to use their phones to scan a QR code and record their workspace from a side angle. So if your exam has this enabled and your plan was to use your phone to look up answers, boom, you are caught before the exam even officially begins. Every single manual method requires you to execute a complex plan while being watched by an AI. One mistake and you're flagged. Which brings us to our expert nursing exam service, the ultimate solution.
We specialize in stepping in when failure is simply not an option. We have an incredibly high success rate with specific, high-stakes nursing courses like NR 580, NR 607, NR 667, NR 577, and NR 509. For instance, if you're facing the NR 667 CEA final exam, which requires a strict 70% minimum just to pass the entire course, there's literally zero room for error. We know these exams inside and out. The absolute beauty of our service is how simple it is for you. You don't need to learn how to compile GitHub code, you don't need to buy expensive capture cards, and you definitely don't need to manage some crazy web of hidden cables. Our experts handle the entire lockdown environment remotely. All you have to do is sit naturally in front of your camera, look at your screen, and collect the grade. To the AI, it just sees a perfectly normal, calm student taking their exam. That is the only way to guarantee safety.
And we don't just promise you'll pass, we promise absolute excellence. We are so confident in our remote assistance that we guarantee a score of at least 90% for every single exam we take. We take all the stress out of the equation entirely so you can just focus on moving forward in your nursing career.
In fact, we stand behind our experts so firmly that if your score somehow magically falls below 80%, you pay absolutely nothing. Zero. That is how confident we are in our secure bypass technology and our subject matter experts. It is a completely risk-free proposition for your grades. So I'll say it again because this is the absolute most important takeaway from this explainer. The most secure way to bypass any proctored exam is by using our experts at www.cheatproctoredexams.com. Do not risk your academic future on outdated scripts or clumsy hardware setups that the AI will catch. Grab that link from the pinned comments and the description box below right now and get in touch with our team.
We've covered a whole lot of ground today, from AI eye tracking to the harsh realities of software flaws, but it really all comes down to this. Your exam date is closing in fast, and it is not going to wait for you to figure out complex code. So why risk a permanent platform ban when you can have a guaranteed pass today? Are you ready to secure your grade without the stress? Reach out to us, check that pinned comment, and let's get you passed. As AI surveillance gets smarter, so do the methods to beat it.